Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make this incredibly fun faux stained glass floating frame. So for this project you're going to need a floating frame, some permanent markers. I just have a couple of Sharpie brand ones, your standard grip cutting mat, a measuring tape, your scraper tool, vinyl, and then some rubbing alcohol. The first thing we're going to do is just measure the inside of your floating frame so that we can, when we get into design space, we know exactly what size to make our decal. So we're just going to use our measuring tape, and it is about 11.5 across and 11.5 in height. So I would say that we shouldn't make our decal in this case bigger than 11 by 11. When you open Design Space, you're going to click on New Project and then go to Images on the left hand side. In your search bar, type in mandala, and then what we want to do is on the left hand side just go to Cut Only, and this will give you all the options. So the one I'm going to choose, we're just going to scroll down a little bit and have a look at the different options. Choose one that you really like. So the one I'm going to use is this one over here, and the code is #M4A99EDF. So we're going to click on that and say Add to Canvas. Now that you have it in your canvas, we have the measurements of our floating frame. So I'm going to, because I don't want to have too big an area around my mandala that's not colored in, I am going to change this to 11 by 11. There we go. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and click on Make It. I'm going to choose On Mat. My image will fit on a 12 by 12 inch mat. I'm going to say Continue. And you can always just check on the left hand side. It's a basic cut, on mat, 12 by 12, and I don't need to mirror my image. I'm going to say Continue. To set our base material, just go to Browse All Materials. I'm using premium vinyl, so you can click on Vinyl. And then here's all your options. If you're using anything else, you can have a look here. But I'm using premium vinyl, permanent glossy. I'm going to say Done. My pressure I'm going to leave as default, and I'm using my fine point blade. So we can now go ahead, add our vinyl to our mat and insert it into our machine. Now that our mat has been measured, we can go ahead and make our cut. Once your cut has been completed, you can remove your mat from the machine, remove your design from the mat, and start weeding it. So now that we have our weeded design, we are going to add our transfer paper over the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick down my design to the table to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to just stick it down over there. And then just slowly but surely pull the bottom layer out. you go. You can now just scrape across with your scraper tool just to make sure that your design sticks properly and there's no bubbles. Before adding our design to our floating frame, next thing we'll do is to clean the actual glass that the design will go on. So you are going to take your frame apart, and you'll see that it has two separate pieces of glass. So remove the top one, and your design will go onto the middle one or onto the back one. So we're going to remove this. And we're just going to add a little bit of rubbing alcohol onto a coffee filter and just rub it across your glass. Before removing the backing sheet from your design, just scrape it one more time with your scraper tool to make sure that the design sticks to the transfer tape properly. When applying our design to the glass, we're going to use the parchment paper method. You can also use the wet method if that makes more sense to you, or if it's a little bit easier. So in our method, we're going to just add a piece of parchment paper over our glass before laying our design on top of it. So what I'm going to do, this will also help you to measure where your design needs to go and to center it properly. Once you're happy with the positioning of your design, you can start removing your parchment paper. To make sure that your design sticks to your glass, just give it a good scrape with your scraper tool and go ahead and remove your transfer tape. And there you have it. Your design is now ready to be colored in, and I will show you how that's done in a second. In order to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to add a white piece of paper underneath my design. And we can start coloring in. You can use whatever colors you want in your design. I'm just going to use every single Sharpie color that I have, and let's see how this turns out. So now that we have our colored in design, you can go ahead and clean your glass panels with rubbing alcohol and then assemble your frames. And there you have your completed frame. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, what type of mandala you'll be using, and like and subscribe to not miss any other crafts. See you next time.